is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? But the sky. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back. This is Art to the Round Table. My name is Mello. That's Megatron. And that's what we're going to be finishing painting today. This is about day 3. I started this on Wednesday with a sketch in the morning. If you guys want to check out how that came about, go check out my live stream playlist for, what's today, the 24th? So that was Wednesday the 22nd. And yeah, so what we're going to do today, because we're moving along, but I'm getting kind of like, I don't know the expression, like this is getting not dull, but it's dulling my eyes. So I want to work on doing the background, which is going to be pretty hard. And also I wanted to refresh my palette. What's going on, Saboteur? That is my palette. This is like a week old. I did my Doom painting with this. I started my Megatron with this, and these are just simply the colors that I've been using so far. These light grays, these light greens, these light blues. A little bit of what I'm thinking about, like khaki, a little mustard color on some spots. But I think I may be able to replicate those tones. So we shall see. Happy Friday, Sabo. I need that. So I wanted to change the pace and work on the background, because I think the rest of his body is going to be more of the same. Just, finding where I left the shades, using the reference sparingly, because obviously this no longer looks like that, right? That is what I used. The mouth changed a bit. That's okay. I'm okay with that. But yeah, man, not bad. Not bad. So, but I am going to try my bestie to do this background. I'm not going to paint that mountain. So the gradient for the sky is going to continue all the way down, because I don't want anything to compete with the metal. The light blue and the purples is really, I feel, is going to bring out our homie here. But I'm kind of happy that I didn't use his tone from the movie. It looks very flesh color, considering maybe it was the golden hour while he was putting the hands on Optimus Prime. Oh, so I'm just gonna put that here. So that's really what I'm gonna try to do. I probably won't be keeping that reference up, but who cares? We'll see what happens. So what are we doing? All right, so now, because I need fresher colors, I don't think I can use these. These have already been used up pretty well, you can see. But I love that tone. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just move this sponge and this sheet over. I'm sure I'll lose it, which is kind of a bummer. But I think, like I said, I think I can match those tones. Alright, so I'm just going to move my sponge and my palette sheet over. Le voila. Being careful not to add any water to my painting. You know what, man? I'm just gonna chuck it, because I am looking. It feels like I'm looking for a disaster. Alright, so what I'm gonna do, I should clean this. I'm gonna clean it. But not right now. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna use a new sponge. And maybe I can show you guys how this happens here. Today's gonna be pretty chill, I think. Hope. There are YouTube videos where they show how to make these homemade versions. I like the muted look on his chestals area for this guy. Like these colors here on his shoulders here, or whatever that's going to be, his traps. These colors are going to continue. I will finish painting the rest of his body that tone. You can't hear my jams? It's because I got it low. You want some of that? All right. Fine. Is that your way of telling me to be quiet? All right. Well, thank you, man. I hope I can retain the vibe, man, if that's what you're looking for. Shut up and play the music, man. What's up, JOM? Just reloading my palette. Threw the other one away. I'm gonna wash my other sponge. My hands were dirty. Filthy. You don't need too much water for this stuff. You don't need too much water. I'm just trying to saturate the paper. This is the paper. I really don't know which way the paper's supposed to go. There's no like glossy end. You know how like some palette paper, they tell you to use the glossy end, or like parchment. Use the glossy end. The waxed out, excuse me. All right. Wow. I just poured water all the way on my pants. I just spilled water all on my pants. All right, that's good to go. I guess it's time to clean up. JOM says everything is leftovers in art leads to the next. So you're referring to my question, right? The question I put on the chat there was, do you prefer a clean palette for every session, or do you like working with leftovers? And I've done both. There's a luxury that we have of being able to start over, right? I like doing if I'm working on a specific piece, then yeah, I would like to keep the leftovers, right? So it maintains the tones of the things that you have. You don't have to try to redo certain things, remix that type of stuff. But today, for today's purpose, because I'm going to be painting the background, I needed a fresh, unmuddied, unsullied, who in here, bit of pigments and paints. So that's what we're gonna do. I got my my reference here. Even the background here from the original, from the reference I'm using, the colors are kind of muted. Light, really light, almost grayish to light blues to a darker blue, and then the bottom of the gray, the clouds are gray. I think I want it a bit more vibrant, so I'm just gonna start getting some blues on my palette here. Some of that. Definitely going to have to use some white and black. What's cool about it is that if I use these, they'll eventually, I'll be able to still use them for his body. They're the same colors, but I'm going to try to keep them bright. I'm thinking of doing maybe purple-ish instead of gray. I'm going to add some red in here to create a purple. Purple. Here, in case you guys can't see. You guys can't see. There is a little bit of cream there. Let me show you. So this is what I'm looking at. But unfortunately, we don't know really all those colors. So I'm going to make these assumptions based on what I can see from my monitor. So I do see a bit of this weird pinkish, yellowish color in there. May not be yellow, almost God knows what. So this is going to be purplish gray for me. That's what I'm going to do. Some gradients to mute it to the bottom. All right, let's go. And I need white. I'm just going to be using up these Winsor Newtons. I should. I'm going to put dabs all over the place. All right. All right, party peoples, let's go. Let's get this Friday going. What are you guys working on? What are you doing, if you're doing anything? If you're drawing, painting, sketching, tracing, what are you doing? That's what I'm doing. I'm going to mix some colors. I'm not sure. You know what? I'm going to start with the lighter stuff. There's a bit of green, I think. Like a weird turquoise. Well, that white disappeared really quick, didn't it? Alright, gonna have to get the big guns. Yeah, it's like a weird hint, man, of I'm just adding a bit of light green. I don't know why I see that, but I see it and I see it. Let's just go for it right here. Turquoise. Yeah, bro. Patent pending. I'll sue. What I'm gonna try to do is be a bit smoother also with this with the colors here. Because I want him to be aggressive in appearance, which we don't need too much. All right, so what I like to do, while everything is still relatively moist, add in the colors so that we can blend them right on the board. And what it does, it adds a really cool gradient. It dries smooth into itself and allows the colors to blend in a lot smoother. I hope it works for me. Just adding a bit more green. I don't know why I see the green there, but I do. And then it's very little right here. In all of this, I'm actually trying to take mental notes. I'm just gonna move my table up. What was I saying? Mental notes for future projects. There's something about the way I was able to paint this dude's face. I'm curious if I can translate that into a portrait, a realistic portrait, I mean. It's not too light. All right, so what I do sometimes, if the color on my brush is too much, I wipe it off on a tissue, leaving just the essence of it, and that allows me the ability to gradually blend it. Gouache is surprisingly a strong medium, man, in terms of pigments. And I learned that a little goes a long way. Star Dragons 19, how are you? Good afternoon. What is up? Happy Friday. All of those things. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time. Stars Dragons 19 says hello. Ooh, that looks good. Last time I was here, it was a sketch. That's right. That was a Wednesday morning. And then Wednesday afternoon, I started to do the painting. All right. That is a light blue to dark blue. That's the color we're mixing now. Let's go clean my brush. A realistic portrait of Buddy Ebsen, aesthetic, Tin Man, and the Wizard of Oz. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. But I meant like a face, no makeup, that type of a portrait. All right, so I think that's a cloud. I went really abstract when it came to doing my cloud lines. Well, Dragon, I kind of cheated because yesterday while I was not live streaming, I like a good old boy, I finished my chores, and I had a couple of hours to burn, so I did this piece, the cannon or whatever that thing. I think that's supposed to be the barrel, not the end of his gun. So I feel sometimes these 2-hour sessions aren't enough, but I don't think people would would stick around with me to watch me paint a full session, you know? So I keep, even 2 hours, man, I really do appreciate people hanging out with me for 20 minutes. And I can't imagine 2 hours. So thank you guys. But I try to give you guys enough content and enough time to enjoy and hang out. See, there's a bit of purple in there. It's so subtle, but I see it. I'm gonna mix it with my blues. That might be too much of a stretch. This is probably going to be the hardest thing for me to realize. This cloud here. This cloud. That sky. This is sky. Landscape artist, man, I need to study more of that. But you see already how I appreciate you, Star Dragons. Thank you. You see how already he's standing out just because of those colors? The JOM says the reflection on the shoulder is a nice touch. Thanks. Appreciate that. I might subdue it a little bit more on the right. And what is that jam in the background? It is actually, don't hate me, it's a playlist that I created on Sonu, using Sonu. Most of the music that I've played in my streams have been that, just because I don't want to deal with trashy YouTube music. And copyright strikes or that type of stuff. And then considering how Sonu is just stealing from everybody, but don't at me. So yeah, this is from my playlist. It's a chill sessions playlist that I created, and I would gladly share. All right, I need to be a little darker, but not too dark. I'm going a bit more saturated with the blues, very cartoonish, comic bookish, I guess more cartoonish. because I want Megatron to stand out. So I am trying to match a bit more the tone of the reference. To see if it'll match, to see if I can blend it. All of these paintings, guys, it's just they have all been trying out things. I have a specific style in terms of how I draw, even, and I think it's developing the way that I paint. I have this what I've been calling a cartoonish realism, which honestly, I think everybody's artwork is cartoonish realism. But oh yeah, no, this is a Friday night right here. All right, I am gonna do a bit more purple on that on the clouds, underneath the clouds. There's one thing that Bob Ross used to do. He used to add red to his clouds, just a smidge. All right, let's see. This is gonna work here. One thing I've realized from a lot of the people that I've studied and looked at their artwork, their method or their technique forces you, which is what I'm trying to do here, forces us to accept what they deem to be it, right? And that's what art is. That is what a cloud looks like. That is what this is going to look like. And they do it enough that we accept it. Blend that in, blend that in. See, I feel like it has a bit of yellow, but I'm not too sure. Ah, this is supposed to be gray. You know, it's supposed to represent storm clouds. If you think about what's about to happen, Megatron is smiling, the clouds are building behind him. To watching the movie, we know what's going to happen. We know what's next. The skies are turning gray. Huh. That's very theatrical of them. I'm just trying to find a good gray. This is gonna be light. The problem is that because he's gray, I probably should have added more color. Like I wanted to. can tell I'm not a landscape artist. I am trying to figure this thing out as I go. Hopefully I can pull it off. You just gotta go with it. Like I was saying, right? I have to... Oh no, those are clouds. And then convince you of them. Megatron's head is cut off in the original. I had to imagine the top of his coconut here, so I am gonna have to embellish. His arm. What I'm noticing is that the... what am I doing here? It's making him... The colors behind him are making him look more realistic. There's also a curvature to the way the background is around him. That's why I mentioned like storm clouds. So I'm trying to capture that now by emphasizing some of these curvaceous strokes. Also. That's great. I'm trying to see what best suits me and my style, or I guess what I want to try to do in terms of when I'm painting. Do I want to see line art? I mean, do I want to do an outline of this character to give it more that realistic approach? I don't know, man. I don't know. Junior, happy Friday, man. Welcome to the party. A swell party. Pity I wasn't invited. I don't know if any of this works. So I'm gonna try this thing. So I've done it before. Never at this scale though. It's a technique I've seen Ruth Wilshaw do in blending in colors in the background. So what I'm going to try to do, seeing how all of this is pretty set up, the only thing I have to do now is just add some values. So what she does is she'll have a moist brush. And then use it to go back and forth, blending in her foreground and background. I don't know if that's going to work for me, but I want these things not to be have such sharp lines between them. Give them a blurry effect, but not so much so that you remove the detail in between that separates the colors. You see, you know what I'm saying? That makes sense. That's too bright. Here, I'll show you. So I'm going to use this color to blend upwards, this color to blend up here. That's the goal, not that one. That one. So what I'm going to do is, what kind of a moist brush? I could go in there with more color, but what I want to do is see if I can blend them in together. I'm going to try here and build up, like creating a gradient. But I don't want to, and creating distance, what I don't want to do is remove those colors. I just want them to kind of blend in. And then you know when you need to add moisture again is when the brush starts, the bristles start separating. I don't know if you can tell. I'm using wipe. But that's losing kind of its coloring. So I'm going to have to be doing that for a bit. Been gone for a few minutes. That's all it takes. One of the ways I used to, when I was trying to figure out how she does it, is using, I'll move this over, crisscross brush strokes. Again, I don't know if this is the right technique. I don't know if I even read or am doing justice to how she blends, but it works for me. Keep going if nobody joins. Stars Dragon. I have 2 streams going, and it's all right, man. I appreciate you. I don't have abandonment issues. It's okay. But thank you for the concern. I appreciate it. So I think what I'm going to have to do to separate him from that background, seeing how the colors are kind of blending in, is some highlights on his body. Adding, I'm not being spontaneous with this. I am not trying to be too true to the reference image, but I'm trying to at least capture some of the points where they have color and highlights. Just following it as best I could. Alright, I have to use a bigger brush. Not too big. Flat brush number 10, not too big. Number 10 brush. Need more blue. I just turned it gray. Might have pooped it. Adds a little bit of motion there, kind of dig it. Station be acting weird. All right. I wasn't expecting such a dark. I'm going to see if I can draw some of these cloud highlights. What do you guys think? Does it read? Did I ruined it? Let me know. You let me know so I can mute you. No, I'm just kidding. There's a weird streak of black paint on my palette that now I can't find, but it decides to show itself the moment I try to go over a lighter color. Thanks, Janie. There's never a painting where, or even a drawing, where I start out 100% certain. I want to, the ideas I have in my mind are 100% certain. The execution, not so much. A second. Good Lord. But the worst thing I can do, worst thing any artist can do is panic. Don't panic. It's no big deal. None of this is a big deal. Don't panic. Keep going. One thing that I've noticed, even from professionals, or the so-called professionals, I don't know why I should say call it so-called, they all panic. In every one of these competition episodes, I always hear the same thing from an artist that you follow and go, they're amazing. It can mess up at any moment. do it every time. Introduce that doubt into their process. And I wonder if they do it to stay humble. You gotta know you're good, I think. I don't know. I don't know. I get bouts of confidence all the time anyways. So I guess I understand. The world and the way people think about others is very fickle, right? We like to follow confident people, but too confident, they're conceited. I don't get it. I think that we put a lot of ourselves and our own experiences on other people, and we shouldn't. Just accept it for what it is. And I'm not saying we, I'm the royal we, me as well. Me mostly. Artists got to understand that some of this stuff isn't easy, and isn't easy for other people, so we should humble ourselves a bit and appreciate the skills that we have. But yeah, some people have it and are born with it, Maybelline style. Some don't, some work for it. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about, man. It's too deep for Friday. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let me know what you're doing. Nami. Anybody watching Ghost in the Shell on Amazon? I've been wanting to. I haven't started, but I want to watch it. I never watched the standalone complex. I've only watched the movies. And for whatever reason, I had it in my head that the Ghost in the Shell movie, the animated movie, was from the 80s, when it came out in 95. I don't know why that blew my mind. That first movie is great. The second movie put me to sleep, but it looks fantastic. But I want to see I want to see this show because it's a bit truer to the original artist's vision. Although there's been a lot of people that have been talking down about the artistic liberties it has taken. Montoya, what's up, man? How are you? Montoya. Happy Friday, man. How you doing? How you doing? I'm over here fighting the good fight, man. I'm trying to figure out this sky here. Wasabi. I tell you what though, I am looking forward to doing a bit more elaborate paintings and covers and covers. Ooh. No cat out the bag? No. I'm trying to have Saboteur hire me to do his covers, but he's selfish. No, I'm kidding. Selfish. All right, let's see if we can divide this thing here. I'm cutting my teeth. I'm doing all the things I want to do right now before I get hired and I can't do it. Oh, snap. And drop the water. Wow. Maybe if I was to stop going over my painting. This is what I'm going to use to separate this coconut from the background by adding some highlights on the dome. You haven't peeped the new Ghost in the Shell either? Yeah, I'm really been excited to check it out though. I don't know why I haven't. My son's a fan of it also, but he's one of those cats that'll be like, yeah, I'll watch it, but never kind of like commits to a time. So I'm like sitting there like, are we gonna watch this or not? Are we gonna watch this or not? So you know what? I'm not gonna wait. Boom. No, I'm just messing with you, Sabo. I know you got naughty covers. Let me do your the newsstand covers, the ones that'll sell in CVS. I'll do those for you. What I like about using these flat brushes for kind of like line art is that because they're not, the bristles are kind of separated and splayed about, it makes it look like you're actually adding a lot more detail than you really are. You know what I'm saying? It's about cheating. Seeing how everything's about cheating lately. Oh man, damn it, Sabo. Nah, dude, I appreciate that you go all in. So, I'm just messing with you, man. I will be doing more character design art on Monday. If you guys are interested in my own creator-owned, I really can't believe that story and book. That is extremely far off, but it's amazing to build. I'm having fun building it as I go. I finished completely. I wrote the end ? On my story already, and I am beginning to break down certain places. I was looking at it. I was rereading it from the beginning yesterday. I didn't read the whole thing, but rereading it to see if everything flows. There are details that I need to change. I'm gonna change the age of my heroes. I think I made them too young at first. But I'm gonna start doing scene counts. That way I can start the building process of certain areas and locations. At least in name only. So that it'll be easier for me. You gotta make it easier for yourself. Because the rest of it is hard. Can I show you guys something? This piece right here. Looks like those weird lens flare artifacts, and I'm like beginning to think about losing my mind and trying to mimic a lens flare. Sabo says, how many pages do you think you're doing? You know what? I don't know, man. I didn't create a count that way. I started early, because I was going to do like a 6-page short story, or like just not a tease, but like the prologue of my story before it even all fleshed out. I think it's gonna be pretty big. I don't think I'm gonna do episodic, man. I might as well just, if I'm gonna go in, just go in all the way. Like I've mentioned in other streams, I don't want to die by 1,000 cuts. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna fail, I want to fail bigly, as they say. But I don't know. I don't know how big it's going to be. It's if it was in chapters, it's 16 chapters. Because that's how I wrote it. I wrote it in a sense of chapter 1, intro, boom, bang, boom. Second chapter, this piece. Third chapter, this piece. So I wrote them in truncated scenes like that. Because they made sense to me. Because that's where, and it was all just so I can get to A, B, and C. To get through A, B, and C. But it's 15 chapters in it. Let's assume it's 15 chapters. How many pages in a chapter? In an issue? 26-ish pages or something like that? I think this is going to be pretty big. Montoya, yes, I am in the process of developing my own. I think it's going to be a graphic novel. If I try to do it episodic in terms of like issues, then I might have to replan everything. And I do have certain cliffhangers between chapters, so at least that helps. But like I said, I didn't write it as a artist in mind, because if I was to do that, I would have stopped a long time ago. And the thing I've done so far is just the cover concept. and I started fleshing out the characters a bit more and how they're going to look. They've graduated from the idea to maybe he should be wearing this, maybe she should be wearing that. But yes, I'm doing a graphic novel. Hopefully. It's all in the beginning process. This is. That works pretty good. It might have to be a bit darker up here so he can stand out a bit more. I do dig that. I wonder if I can mimic. You guys know what I'm talking about? The lens flare, the artifact that you get. Monty, I made the mistake of meeting way too many creators, comic book creators and writers and artists. I am delusional to think that I can hang and bang with them when it comes to this stuff here. But I love that about what's happening. You know? The list keeps growing of the amount of people that I've met that are creators, that are writers, and you guys are so encouraging and inspiring. You know? Absolutely inspiring. And seeing it happen and being around people who don't talk, what's the word? I want to keep it PG, but don't talk shite, you know? All they do is I've had the pleasure of being around people and artists that are actually fulfilling those things. Fulfilling that their books, their stories, I think it's dope, man. And too many times have I've fallen behind or followed and been around people where it's all gangbusters and then nothing happens. Me included. And that switch has been flipped, man. I'm over the top. When I move my, what do you say? When I take my hat and turn it around, it's like a switch. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So Montoya says the comic I'm working on now, I wrote in screenplay format. Since I was used to it, turns out 30 pages in screenplay format is more like 60 pages in comic. Yeah, man. And for a guy like myself who has no experience writing scripts or stuff like that, what I ended up doing was I would write a huge truncated paragraph. A lot of and then, and this, and that. She says, and he says, and these emotions, and that's what drove me to finish the story. And then I was able to go back and add the proper dialogue. That makes sense. Putting myself in the shoes a bit more I would have said that. I would have said that. Putting a bit more of humor and that type of stuff. So, again, what started out as a story that was going to be no dialogue turned into almost 100 and something pages real quick of just, what's the word? Synopsis? No, that's not what I'm thinking about either. It is what it is. Yeah, man, and too many times have I been used creatively as the crutch for these people, hoping that I wouldn't realize how much advantage they're taking from me. And when the shoe drops, when you wake up from that stupor, and then all of a sudden their dream collapses, and I'm like, well, was it your dream or mine? Some of those realizations that I've gone through, and they're kind of sad, but they are what they are. On the internet, if you don't like something as much as a fan of the thing, they will attack you for not thinking like that. Yeah, yeah. Well, interwebs. You already know. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I think Mondays, I'm going to be doing more of that stuff and just trying to flesh out characters and doing roughs of certain scenes, I think. I think that should work. I think it'll work for me. Again, I'm really happy with the progression. I'm in no rush. But I think what I would love to start doing is that. Maybe 1 or 2 pages. Oops, that's too white. But I'll put it here. And see how it goes and see what it looks like. Not quite the same. I think it's a bit more purple. So what I'll do is I'll start to add a bit. But it's been fun. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, I can't wait to share it and go through some of the story as much as possible. Yes, man. I was watching that too. It's actually kind of cool to see Montoya in here, considering Monty shouted you out, bud. But yeah, man, just get it done. Which, to be honest, it's a lot easier said than done. You know? But we do this stuff so often. I've spent so much time doing fan art when I could have been doing my art. You know? And I think sometimes that becomes a crutch as well. But one of the things that I've been wanting to do, which is really good, and it's actually happening more often than not, is meeting, again, creators of their own stuff. So I'd be maybe too pushy, because I don't have a name, but I'm like, yo, I'll do some fan art based on your stuff, because I'm looking for something other than DC Marvel image. You know? Gotta follow my peoples. Let me see here. Sabo says, I've answered already to this, but I'm going to read it out anyway. I was watching Rob Norton. Shout out to Mr. Norton. And Sheldon the other day, and Rob said, well, tired of people saying they will do it. Just do it. My cat agrees. And I got to put that back in the back of his coconut as you work on that issue. Monty says, working with other peeps is a learning process. Someone takes advantage of you in your work. It will likely not happen again with someone else. Yes. Yeah. That's true. It's tragic and it's true. It's kind of what happened recently with me. Very recent. But it is what it is. Saboteur, yeah, we need our peers to keep us on target and inspired. Yes. But we ourselves, Money, have to keep ourselves accountable. So, one of the things I challenged myself was to mention it. As a way to hold myself accountable. I'm gonna have to mix in some purple in here. What is it? Hell yeah, I'm off track and I'm kicking myself in the ass. Is there a line? Yeah. Yeah. But I have faith, man. I got faith. Things happen for a reason. Certain things happen the way they do. It's going to be fun. Until it isn't. All right. Kind of losing it up there. Just want splashes of color here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to match anyway the what's happening, but it doesn't matter. It's over, Brian. Might have to darken this piece here. It looks like a nostril. We shall see. Too much? That I don't get. I don't know how he gets that white note. This is gouache, Monty. I've been doing painting with gouache for like 2 years now. A little bit more than 2 years. But as you can see, I use it very thickly, very much like I think acrylic would be used. But yeah, these are Winsor & Newton acrylics. Oh my lord. Now you earwig me. Winsor & Newton and Arteza gouache. I keep using the same other. I'm just trying to get a lighter color of a lighter shade of blue, man. It's all good, I forget to. There's a lot going on that sky. I don't know if it's doing what I want it to do, but it is what it is. All right, let's add some highlights here. Link, how you doing, Link? I'm doing a thing. It looks like clouds. It looks like clouds. Hello, I can't stay. I have to do much today, but hope and pray you're all well. No, just we are. I am. Thank you so much for swinging through, Link. I appreciate you, Link. I have to tell you that I started following Dane Creates. I think that's his name because I was I saw you on one of his streams and I didn't get a chance to say what's up to you, but I did end up sticking around after watching him do some amazing ink work. So thank you, man, for inadvertently having me follow somebody that's amazingly talented. I think with other types of paint, you can do the background first and paint over that. You can do that with that medium. I've only used it a bit in art classes. No, well, I think it would be difficult because it doesn't. I don't think it's recommended, Monty, to do it that way, because gouache. I refer to gouache as being a living medium in the sense that it will, until you seal it, it's always active. It's always ready and it will ruin your day. So let's say I step away, this thing dries up, 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, doesn't matter. The moment I add a little bit of moisture, it'll come back alive and it'll begin to reactivate. So I think mostly when I see people do that, it's very coloring book style, kind of like the way I started earlier, where I put the colors side by side. But if I was to do this whole background first, my grays and my silver notes here would muddy into the purples. Maybe it'll work. Maybe if I was a bit more adept at doing it. But no, I wouldn't recommend it, and I don't think I've seen it done. Most of they usually kind of like this. I could be wrong though. Like with acrylic, I could have done the background, and even with oils, I think you could have done it. Which is why this underpainting, this wash, is done using acrylic. I definitely lost the motion of the clouds, but I wanted to keep everything focused inwards. So I'm still getting that energy. Yeah, Monty, before I started doing the acrylic on the background as a wash, I would have to go really slow and do a lot of heavy layers in the beginning. This way, using acrylic where it doesn't come up again once it's dry allowed me to be as watery consistency with my gouache paints early to allow to blend. Hopefully that answered your question, bud. Ah, there you go. Boom! That's what we need, man. I think it can be done with acrylic gouache, which I've tried and don't like. There's something. This piece right here is killing me. And I don't know how I'm gonna blend that up. But that really has helped. I might just have to go with a lighter gradient up into the clouds there. This thing has white on it, so I'm gonna use it here. Whatever it is, I need to... All of this is just practice, man. Practice to get a bit more elaborate. I've been looking at a bunch of Joe Jusko Conan covers, man. I've been finally reading my collection of The Savage Sword of Conan. I think the dudes at the comic book store that I visit, their eyes light up because I pick up all their old dusty Conan books. Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm digging it. This is the reference for you guys that came in late or at all. That is the sky reference that I was trying to do there. I think that works for me. I'm not too mad at it. Add a little bit more consistency to these shadows here. I mean, under the cloud. Montoya, thank you, man. Squash is a POS sometimes. And I think that's why I've tried to stick with it, because it is challenging. But it hasn't been so challenging where I'm like, I am not dealing with this crap. Forget it. It's over. I'm over it. I've learned more from. Oh, see? Beautiful. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, Monty. I appreciate you. See? Getting emotional. Yeah, this is right after he says I would have waited an eternity for this. It's over, Prime. Oh, joy. I want to do the outline, but I'm going to darken this just. I've been doing chrome. I've been doing metal textures lately. Been trying to. I have some characters in my story that are going to be wearing armor. Maybe not this shiny, but this was the first one I really was extremely proud of the metalwork. I've done a Doom before, but this one really was the one that I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. That's my jam. So this was the basis for that. Obviously, you saw the reference. The colors they're nowhere near it. So this is what I was using as my tone reference, my color reference for Megatron there. But I didn't want it to look as smooth. I wanted the metals to look similar, but not to the point where they wouldn't match. So the idea, very similar color schemes, if not all. The only thing I didn't put too much of is this reddish underglow, because he wouldn't have it. But I did keep some of the tone from the underpainting, because I think it makes it look more realistic, in my opinion. But yeah, these are my homies right there. And I'm going to do Destro and Cobra Commander from the movie. Here, I'll show you the reference. And then I might continue. I need to keep this. How can I put it? There's a character I wanted to draw for Rob Norton, one of his female characters, who is metallic. All right, let me see something here. Let me see if I can find it. Browse. Metal heads. That's not it. Oh, I didn't transfer it. I have it on another folder. Anyway, it's Cobra Commander and Destro that I'm gonna do. Hold on, that's not right. So many things open. I can't stand it. How exciting. Oh, I meant how exciting me clicking away over here, ignoring you guys. I know Rob's character, but the name, that'll be pretty cool. Yeah, the war whore. The war. Yeah, here you might. Well, I'm a nerd for this stuff. This is the stuff I grew up with, man, and it makes me happy. Where are you, man? Okay, here you go. This one, that one, this one. Okay, so this is the image. Oh, not that big old face. This is the next one I'm gonna do with both of them. And I think that's gonna look cool. I hope. So I'm gonna grid up my artboard again, just to get the proper dimensions of them. These people aren't. They can't see a thing that I'm talking about. This is gonna be the next piece. You guys in the vertical stream. All metal, so it'll be cool. Hopefully. So then I have my collection of metal face dudes. So should be interesting if I could pull it off. This guy's looking good. I might have to add a bit more up here. But yeah, I think we're cooking with gas. I think it's getting lost a bit more because the similarities. So what I'm going to end up having to do is putting a lighter color down here for a glow effect. But that looks pretty good. This doesn't have the same type of metallic sheen that the other ones that the Doom had. All right, let me get my base grays. I think we're Gucci with the sky. I'm going to start building up my grays again, my silvers here. And I'm gonna use some of those purples and grays a bit. But I need more white. I got black there, I got my blues. I want to do a darker blue. I'm actually going to use some green. Stuff that wouldn't be necessarily recognized, but it's in there. Like the tomato sauce. You see how I have some green on his forehead there? Those type of subtle color hints and tones really do stand out. And don't ask me about color theory. I don't know any of it. All I know is that I need to try to follow these. You need to know color theory, grab one of these and follow somebody on on Insta or YouTube that knows more than I do. But there's certain things here that do work out, which is always what's on my mind. The blues and the purples are near each other. But if you add enough variation, it should work. It should anyway. Which is why some of this makes it stand out. And if you look at the original piece, he's almost flesh tone. Alright, let's go. The hardest part Yeah, man. Color theory, music theory. Better men than me. All right. All I really need to do is keep an eye on these. I added some shading, and I'm gonna keep as much as the shading from the original, from the reference. So I know that I darkened it when I did the wash here. These are purposely darker to keep me in check from what I drew previously. So this is dark. Yep. All right. What's cool about this part is that I can still be a bit experimental and let the colors commingle. I'm gonna start adding some blues and grays and purples so I can match some of the sky. And those subtle changes is what gives it that illusion of reflections and shadows. We give him some reflection right here. Look at that. Sometimes, every once in a while, man, looks like I know what I'm doing. The other times, not so much. What I really would love to do is learn how to mix better grays. And I used to be able to do it with watercolor. But I can't do it so much with gouache. Unfortunately, that's more my fault because I haven't tried it. I've been using pre-mixed grays a lot, or just using black and white as my base for gray. And party peoples, I wouldn't do that. Is it useful? Sure it is. But it's better to use your own versions of gray and shadows. It just adds more life to them. Ike, my friend, happy Friday, brother. Welcome. I like to add some green on that. All right. So, Monty, you notice here I used more water on my mixture to blend it. If this underpainting was gouache, it would have started to mix with that burnt sienna underneath. Which is not what we want. Thank you, Ike. I appreciate you. You're looking forward to the weekend? Heck, yeah, man. Thank you, man. I did a bit of it yesterday. I did this piece right here for his cannon, which I think is a bit of the barrel. I think the idea is trying not to make something that's gray look gray, if that makes sense. But right now, I can't get a solid. Ah, there you go. The water moisture adds another level of difficulty. Gouache takes, yes, the water, the consistency, trying to match. I don't know enough about it. All I know is that I want it to stick. Some teachers or people that online that try to teach it, they mention like the water, what is it? Water, tea, and water, tea, coffee, and cream or butter. I can't remember. I couldn't learn that way. My mind shuts off once you start talking about food. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I think that if I was to try to explain it, I think it would be that if it doesn't stick to the board or the canvas, you put too much water. If it looks like watercolor, you put too much water. If it looks like acrylic, you put too little water. And there's benefits to both versions. There's a benefit to all of the different consistencies. Here, I'll show you. Like, that's pretty thick, but if I put a lot more moisture into my brush, I can give it a... Well, that doesn't really do nothing. I kind of like the streakiness. And I find it fascinating how it just blends underneath with the other colors. Even if you was to cover it, the bottom colors still kind of seep through. I'm losing my lines, so I'm trying to look at the figure and see where I left some of the highlights so I know. And if you want another layer of difficulty, Monty, lighter colors dry darker and darker colors dry lighter. So good luck with that, as they say. Hope you survive the experience. It's like, what the? Is there anything in here that does what it's supposed to do? I need more white. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's super forgiving. At any point, it's forgiving in the sense that you know how in most paintings you want to stay in the mid range of the color spectrum, and then you oomph it up at the end with pure darks and pure white or whatever highlights. I don't play by those rules. I over render sometimes to see, because I know that if it's too bright, I could always go over it and dull it down. I can correct mistakes that way, and sometimes doing that allows a really cool level of dimensionality to the colors. That's if you stick with it. That's the one thing about gouache that I noticed, that you have to stick with it. Even as unforgiving as it is. Like all art, that's the silly thing to say. Like all art forms, you gotta stick with it. I'm gonna do it. Throw in some yellow in here. Just to allow the eye a place to relax. There's so much grays and blues. Wise words. Yeah, brother, you gotta stick to it. We're gonna fail. It's okay to fail. It's okay, man. The one thing I didn't add to this drawing and this painting is in the original painting, he has like the original painting. I keep saying that. In the reference in the movie, his eyes bleeding. He got schmutz coming out of his face. That's the one thing. So that's why I'm using this green to give that impression. Because if you know, you know. He got a little schmutz right there. Yo, for real though, props to Megatron, man, in that movie for finally beating his rival. And props to Optimus Prime for doing what many thought he was going to be incapable of doing. Right, he got a little bit of... It's a bit more in the movie, and in the reference I'm using is not so prominent, so I'm just going to leave it in there the way, like this, so it won't stand out so much. But we know it's there, we know what's happening. But I'm going to put it in some of these gashes. This is the third image that I've painted from this movie. Give me a second. I don't remember if I did this one first or the other one, but what a big difference. I wish I would have dated this, but this was earlier this year. It almost makes me wish I went back and just kind of like really pushed it. But I did one for my cousin as a commish of Optimus Prime on his entering his forever sleep. I don't think I have a picture of that. I think I have it on my phone. I don't think I do. That's terrible. Anyway, on that one, I kept it really close to the reference. But what I changed was some of the minor details, like all the extra stuff. So, he dug it, I dug it. But I'm glad that I stepped out of the true reference of it to do my own thing. You gotta. Because at least the cool thing about this is that although it's familiar and we all know it, it's not the way we remember it. And I also wanted it to look freaking badass. This is going to a family member of mine who went through a health scare recently and had to be taken to the hospital. He's fine. He's recovering perfectly. He's a good dude, strong dude. But when I was able to get a hold of him, when we finally was able to speak to each other, he didn't even give me a chance to uh, to say hello, he immediately said in his best Megatron voice, "I still function," and I'm like, okay, that's my dude. Heck yeah. You can see the level up from the early work. Oh, thanks, man. And you know, I really, really wanted that piece to be as true to the animation, right? As true to how they made it as humanly possible. Like this, I used the grid method, kept it in line as best as I could. So that was the point. Yeah, dude. So I that's how I did the Optimus Prime that way. For Megatron, I was going to try to get a still frame of that quote, that I still function. But it's not very good, and it's really fast. If you know it, you know it, right? He's being held by Starscream before he gets jettisoned into space. And it just didn't look good. It didn't look good enough to paint. So I said, what better shot? And I started to rewatch the movie a bit. I was going to do when he nails Ironhide. You know the one. What heroic nonsense. But I'm like, no, I don't want to do that either. So I went here, which is basically the precursor. We're such nerds, bro. Thank God. Thank God for nerds, man. I'm sorry, I keep bumping into the mic. Yeah, man. Nerds, yo. We the ones that keep the world going. All right. Test it. It's not dark enough. Not dark enough. So anyway, I'm doing it for him. He has no idea I'm doing this for him. He, unlike a true friend, I'm just kidding. He doesn't watch my videos. Be hilarious if he's watching this one. But yeah, he has no idea, so I'm gonna be shipping this out to him as soon as I am done. And he's gonna shit. Excuse me. Which would be the proper response. Here, I want to show you guys a quick little... So I still have some dark, shadowy color, little light gray, and it's pretty moist, my brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some craters, some details. So easiest way to do that, I'm going to go sideways here. I'm going to do some mini line mark like that. And every once in a while, I'm going to press a little bit more. Let me move the camera so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Right? So, side of the brush. So I wanted to dig in here. And what that's going to do is going to dry in between. It won't be that dark, which is okay. You know what? There's a nice piece right here that's kind of like unpainted. Bam! Could do that right there. This is how a lot of this, like I said, is training for something else. I was able to. I figured this out doing concrete. Trying to do stone, not concrete, stone. And if I wanted to, just clean my brush a bit more. You can even use a bit of water. Blend it in, blend it in. So the next thing I got to do here is add a bit of highlight. And it doesn't even have to be too sharp, just a lighter color. Light's coming from over here. So I want this to pop out. So I'm just gonna tap. This is a flat brush. If I should have used an angled brush, but it'll do the same. My damn hand is wet. And now I'm just tapping on I've just picked the upper part of that shadow. As if it was sticking up and it's broken, so I can cast the shadow here. And I'm sorry if the way I'm describing it doesn't make sense. You let me know. Give me the what? What are you talking about? You see that? Very simple way of doing. And if I wanted to. Oh, you're welcome, Monty, man. That's the point. I'm telling you, that's the point. I don't mind sharing this stuff. There's no point in me gatekeeping it. Especially for a guy that I don't like gatekeeping. I'm just tapping a little bit of darker, a little bit of gray and black in there to emphasize how deep the cut is going to be. You can even do some sprinkles if you need. Yeah, dude, it doesn't hurt me one bit to share any of this stuff with anyone that wants to learn. If I know it, if I knew how to do it, if I crack the code, I'm gonna share it. Some scorch marks here. What's the point? I didn't invent it, right? You know, that's the one thing that gets me from some artists who get when I'm getting a pretentious air to them. Why? You didn't invent it. You didn't create painting. You didn't create any of this. You can't show me how you did it. You can't explain. This ain't magic. What's the point? It should be shared. Anyway, the ramblings of a broke Spanish artist. All right. Ooh, that's real battle damage, man. Dang. All right, I'm gonna add some streaks. So I'm going to let's see if I can get, I want it to look like brushed. Hammer and screwdriver, huh? Oof. You know, it'd be a really cool effect. I've been trying to find a reason to use my metallic Artezas. I've done them some, even on that Doom piece. I wonder if I should use some metallic green somewhere. Yeah, very large blaster holes. Yeah. They were going against the a Star Destroyer. I have a Star Destroyer hanging on my wall. Because I'm a nerd. Maybe I will use. I just don't know what color I should use. You know what messed me up? I was looking at Megatron here, and if this isn't a helmet, it means that his hair, he has Prince Charming's hair. Oh. And I kind of dig that. I think it makes me I think it would explain why he's so freaking angry. Will I be able to fix it if it doesn't work? If I was to add the metallic inside? Yeah. That's the thing about gouache, man. You could just go right over it. And if I wanted to, I can just remove some of the pigment with water. And because this is art board, I don't have to risk the paper getting all funky. 4:30. Okay. Phew, man. I'm gonna go pick up my son. I've almost lost track of time here. Yeah, and it's really forgiving what you can do. It's all about how brave you want to be, right? Do I want to do that? I'm in here. I'm what, 8 hours in? 2 for the drawing, maybe an hour and a half. 4 with the painting, starting it. 2 yesterday's. Yeah, 8 hours in. Do I want to start taking risk? But there was something that I saw about how artists gauge their progress, and it's how big a risk they start to take. And I thought that was interesting. This right here is killing me. I think I went too far. And I lost my line. You see how I kind of... He said, go for it. Yeah. Yeah, I might. But what color? Should it be a blue? Should it be a green? The metallic colors are so weird. I still don't know how to really mess with them. That's cooking. I need to get a little bit thicker here. So... At this point, I'm really being not careless, but I'm not worried too much about any of the colors down here. Because at this point, everything will kind of work. It might be jarring. Yeah. And, you know, it's not... It doesn't pop out the way we think metallic looks. Hey, I'll show you for a second. For Doom, I didn't use it anywhere near the figure except for whatever these things are called that pin his tunic. And here on the word, you see how it gives it that weird sheen, that shininess, like the lettering on money. So it's not like it's gonna be uber pop. So if I was to make it work, I would have to pick a color way on the other side of the color wheel for gray, which would be almost white. And the colors now aren't all that... Ouchies. I'm just... You know what? I might have to look at how it looks, but... Maybe a a really metallic blue. Something sharper than what I have there so far. Good Lord. I wish this was a bit better. See what I'm saying? Here, I'll show you another example. I did this piece full of patch, and I used the metal, the they say metallic, but every color in there says pearlescent. So is it pearlescent colors or metallic? The box says metal. You can kind of, so it gives off some type of sheen, but not so much. And this is a silver over some type of whatever the white is. Pearl? Pearlescent pearl? Is that a pearl white? Pearl white with whatever silver it was that I had in there. Maybe next time I'll write it down. So maybe I will. Maybe I'll pick one of these blues and knock it out. What I would really like to do one day is find a subject and just paint the whole thing in that pearlescent color. Your car is pearl white? Yeah. See, that's cool. I'm a lame-o. All this color that I use in my car is black. But it's shadow black. If that means anything. Now, where am I? Okay. I tried to use some of that pearlescent stuff in the eyes, and it didn't really work out. I kind of muddied them. They're very thick. So I don't know about being able to blend them. With that Wolverine piece, all I ended up doing was just going over it. Worked a little bit. But with that, it is, I've been on this a little over 2.5. I'm going to call it on this. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this Friday. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Monty, thanks for hanging and banging with me, man. Chatting and chilling. Sabo, Ike. Stars Dragon on the other side. J Near, JOM. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. I'm gonna tidy up, finish a little bit here while the music plays me out. You already know. This is Arts of the Round Table. My name is Mello. God bless you. Love you. Mean it. Until next time, I'll draw you later. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend, everybody.